Um, yeah. Mm, mm. Doshanta Sata Nido. In relation to the confunction of the deformation, the sensasan of a makolo is that the pakasan is antisan because in relation to the flocosan, the inkasan and the kanta is the rishono. B. Hmm. So in that way, with the saplaplam, the transflam of the follow is the consciousness of YouTube, because in that way, if we can prolong the ecstasy in relation to the arcana, we will perform itself into the ecstasy, because the spirit energy is just an inconstant in relation to the developer, because in that way, the nicotine of the ESP will be down. The next producer will come in relation to the collaboration. In a matter of time, the galaxy of 3321 and 3324 is a different mark in relation to the diffraction of the lawyer, because in relation to the galaxy, the Nidanon or the Blakala is that reality of the alien creator is a narcissism, because the developer of the next work is that the prom is an concern of the police gun. And in that way, once you have the graffiti in relation to your development, the next episode will be in relation to the transition. Because in that way, based upon Doshanong of the parliament, the legislation is that the intelligence, yes, of Arnon, because Arnon is just a nickname. The development of our own way is the nickname of law, because the logical set of law is that we are not processing in relation to the fifth function, because the magali of law is that the instances of the threshold. So in relation to the solar panel, we need to work out the legacy of how it gets recharged in the battle sun. Yes, later. But the confluence of our own Kisanan will repeatedly Dakshasanan. If you look at Mother Teresa, Miss E.T., in relation to the country, how does the sun Rongshong in that way? Because the magnitude of the Longanang is the different statistics of knowing the Tamam or something. I'm not sure yet. But later on, when the sun orbit around, or what does it do in relation to giving us the harvest station for the farmer, we can also position the timer in relation to Poseidon and also the location of law. So in that way, when there is a conjunction of the Implicum aesthetics of the empire, we will position ourselves into the Hong Kong, because each country has a different aesthetics of Ne. Yes, because the sunburst shines through. But how? When it shines through, the aesthetics of our law is the Nicholson, because based upon the country, the Lexus of the Lankantan has a different time lap in relation to the quartet quantum. The quartet first word quantum is the legacy, because the entire galaxy has a certain amount of sun to provoke the lung in relation to time, which is the ecosystem. There is a higher conform or something in relation to the Galagan, because the Galagan is a different galaxy or somewhere. I'm not too sure as yet. But in relation to each planet, the Milky Sun, this galaxy, the last planet is Pluto. But the other galaxy, I don't know. They probably know, I don't know. But in this way, the legacy of the Platon is that the platypus is Nanta, because Aboriginal culture with the oh, ah, okay, The water level of the Quartus quantum is a different latitude of the Magnanana, which is the magnitude of Longkong. Because in that way, if there is a sublepla in relation to the Hoshanong, the Nikani of the Monkonong is the Magna. So in that way, the Blixen of the Mono for the fire in relation to the pipe cushion, the pipeman pile, which is pipeman. So in relation to the pipeman, we need to Tososon in relation to our sewage as well as the Kasason. So based upon Ichuka, there was a water plant. So in that way, when we can actually work out how to recycle our water, we get a certain percentages of our budgeting, etc., in the water level. But in that way, we've got to be careful of our nature as well as ourselves, because when we brush our teeth and shower and stuff like that, we've got to be a little bit of hazard with killer cocoa, which is our corrects of our nutrition. So in that one, when we do number 2, wherever it goes, if it dies off and it changes the water as well as the drinking water. So in that way, when we can confront the retaliation of Franklin in relation to Astrobot and also in relation to our stereotype by the long jumper and also the Aka in relation to our Olympic, and also in that way we can also drink the right energizer to position ourselves into the nutrition of PPs and blockers of flush and indication of where the water will go in. So in that way, when we have the water, we need to save the river by the Tonchong of the Polok. So in that way, the function of law is that the instrument of the orchestra will pin out the imperial ecoton of the LBS in relation to our ALF of FC UK. So in that way, with FC UK, the position of FC UK is that the instrument of our law is the Nikanin. So the conversion of our law is an intercution of the Delafa in relation to Holmes World and also to develop the next transition, because Papa and Galicia did show me the show, and that way if this planet gets destructed, we all die. So anyway, the conversion of the legacy is that the legacy of our law is that when we save the economics in the ECO by the energizer, and also to hibernate into the successes of the forlong, because the forlong is based upon our hibernation, and also by the consequence of cups in relation to the development of the Trensa. The development of the Trensa is based upon the notion of our law, and that a wikisi alagana is that the notion of our lawyer will intertone the next development of third kill. So in that way, when it through the solar panel, if our car has a battery saver, whatever you call it, in relation to the solar panel, with the ignition, will start the engine. Don't know. Based upon that, Saint Mary, the science teacher in U8, I think, when we have the ratio of the motor, we can formulate the next Belixison of our law, and also to develop the next solar system. The next solar system in relation to our Omnon is that when we orbit into a certain amount of gravity in relation to our air, our spaceship will fly through the next season of our Ecolo, and also to program into the division of the Slumlum. Because does she? I don't know. Oh, I know who she is. Oh yeah, in my photo. That's when I was in U8. I think it was in U8. Yeah, that's St. Mary's. So anyway, in that way, when the panel of the solar system will function into a battery, we can assess the tests and so by TIC, and also the blocker by drink driver, and also the division of the lawyer in relation to the politics as well as the equation. because our solar system is the Dokushon. And that way, with the solar system, the Lord of the Rings is that the features of our law is that the rock is not solid. So when the rock is not solid, how can they travel all away the spaces? Because there's nothing there. But if there's nothing there, then the equation of our artificial, intellectual, artificial astrobot of Rothschild to perform the next motor in relation to our engine and also in relation to the Blitzen, something like that. So in our car, the engine is an engine, and this is there a motor? It's called motor, isn't it, or something? But in that way, with the engine, the ratio of the solar panel is that if we can do the hibernation into the hybrid, we can also separate into the battery recharger. So Gary's car works in relation to charge my phones, whatever you call it, USB. So in that way, it works. So in I can't be bothered tomorrow. So in that way, the confliction of the dilation based upon the diffraction of the diplom, we need to develop, yes, the next solar system in relation to our Brexon. So astronaut in the climate system, it changes the condition of our environment, and also it does possess the anti-scrotum of the anti-scrotum of the Blankison. Yes. So in that way, diffraction of the sonic scroll is searches through like that. If there is a sound wave in relation to our air and O2, and in air and O2 it is the CH3328 and CH0218 by H25 and blue pi in relation to the Gresham and also the confunction of our logarithm, because our lawyer will plaintiff the next solution by the constitution of its own work, and also to develop the next ending. So the next ending is that the sort of part adapter. Huh? I think that's someone. Oh. But anyway, in that way, the confliction of our fire crown sun is that the synthesis of our law is that each town will meet. No, not yet. No, not yet. Blah blah. So anyway, in that time with the solar system panel, the devotion of the Shire, we work out the devotion of Star Wars to indicate that the acting career will be measured in relation to the script. Thanks.